A little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned, wear a hat, sometimes play chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling.
Isn't this something new? I'm usually in my own bathroom at home with a green shower shade behind, but now I have this luxurious bedroom behind me. The light is not that great, but I'm not really doing too much right now because I'm getting ready to put a horse helmet on. A horse helmet, a helmet to go ride the horse. So there's not really, I can do too much to this hair because it's all going to be shoved up inside a helmet. And yes, I'll have helmet hair when I get through. But I do want to do a little bit of makeup. I really saturated my face this morning with cream. I mean, all kind of different creams. Apologize for the puffiness, but I don't have my little aloe vera with me. You know, you just can't bring everything with you on a trip. So, but I saturated my face with cream this morning because the wind looks like it's going to be horrid outside. It's like 45 degrees and the wind is blowing big time. So I am really creaming my face up so that I don't come back and I have a wind look face. Now you may be saying, okay, so why are you doing your hair, Janice, if you just said that you're going to be in a helmet? Because I have to go down to breakfast. And hopefully I'll meet some other people that are going to go riding with me today. I'm hoping. I will be leaving here at 10 a.m. and hopefully the rain will stay away for a little while. But nevertheless, I'm going. This has been a dream of mine for almost a year. I've been paying on it, and I can't wait to go. And the people were so nice to me last night. Oh, the people here have just been lovely. I mean, I just can't say enough. The people in Pebbles at the Crown Hotel were fabulous. Just fabulous. I had a taxi driver bring me out to Crinklety yesterday. It's about 5 minutes from town. And he said, that'll be 10 pounds. And I said, you don't take a credit card? And he said, no. I said, oh my gosh, all I have is a credit card. And he said, I'm sorry, but I don't take a credit card. And I said, oh, you know, I just felt so bad. And then he just said, I guess I'll see you when I see you. And I thought, oh man. So I had a tremendous amount of an issue yesterday with electronics. This is why I did not go horseback riding yesterday, because I had to get the electronics. I mean, you know, you can't go horseback riding and have a video about horseback riding and a video about going to Scotland if you can't take any pictures. So I had to get that all taken care of. And so I did. But it took quite a bit. In fact, I had to get another taxi driver come pick me up. He took me to the ATM. I got money out. And then we went to the Crown Hotel. And I kindly asked the lady if she would let the taxi driver know. And I handed her 10 pounds. That this is from me, you know, because I didn't want him to think, oh, yeah, right. She just scammed me on that one, little old lady. But certainly didn't mean to, in any way did I mean to do that. I think I'm going to put my hair, because of this high collar, I think I'm going to put my hair behind my ears for breakfast. Because once I get through with breakfast and then I put my helmet on, it's just going to be helmet. Let me show you. You'll see it later, but let me show you. Okay, so here is my helmet. I have to be very careful because this is the wall. I'm going to knock myself out. So this is the helmet. And for those of you that have ridden before, you know exactly what it's like. I have never ridden, well, yes, I did ride with helmets, but it's been a long time ago. But when I did country, well, not country, but when I did Western riding, I certainly never wore a helmet. But see, this is what it's going to look like. And that's just not an attractive look. I don't think any of it's going to be attractive. But anyway, I think I'm going to use this and put my hair in it. I couldn't find a hairnet in France to save my soul. I went to every store there was that I thought that would be carrying it. And so I'm going to stuff my hair in that and then just put it up above my ears. And I think that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to hear crinkly, crinkly, crinkly all day long, but that's okay. But it's not, I don't know, it's not going all the way up. I don't know how I'm going to do this. We'll figure it out, but not right now. We need to do makeup. I might could just, let's see if this works. What I need is a rubber band. That's what I need, is a rubber band. And I will get a rubber band when I go downstairs for breakfast. Because then I can pull my hair back and put it in a little ponytail. And it will be little because I have the short hair. But anyway, I think that's how I'll do that. But I really want to wear my hair behind my ears today because, number one, you know I don't like long hair. And number two, I don't want to feel like I'm choking. I know I shouldn't feel that way. Honestly, I don't think it's that cold today. But you know what's going to happen? The stables are like 15 or 20 minutes away from here. What's going to happen is we'll get up there and it'll be a higher altitude and it'll be cold. Because I'm just sticking my hand out the window and I'm going, that's not very cold. That's not very cold. So I don't know. But I think I'm just going to wear my hair and lacquer it down. And that way when I get a rubber band, just pull it back and all those little tiny hairs will stay. I just don't think there's any way that you can really be gorgeous or even try to be gorgeous in a helmet. Although I am going to wear some earrings so that I do look like a girl and not a boy. I am going to do that. I love these little items that I bought. I bought them on Amazon. And they just took my little toothpaste in one and the light is not so great right here, so I'll probably end up doing a little bit of a finished product when I finish with this. But, because I want to make sure I get every crease in every corner. Decide on what kind of lipstick I want to wear. I did bring my mascara. When I get home to the States, I think I'm going to buy another type of mascara, I think. So let me tell you what happened the other day. I videoed this the day I got into Scotland, but it didn't, I don't know. I had lots of problems with electronics. I'm just letting me put it to you that way. And then yesterday, I just said, you know what? I'm taking a day off. I'm going to just charge everything and I'm going to recharge everything and recharge myself. And so that's what I did. I slept a lot yesterday. But what happened is I got to the train station and immediately the gentleman picked up my passport and said, you're illegal. You know, why are you illegal? You can't, you know, whatever. I couldn't understand him. I mean, I knew what he was saying. I knew the essence of what he was saying. And I knew he was true. I mean, that's why I'm going back to the States. And I really wouldn't be going on this trip had I not put in a great deal of money for it. And I didn't want to lose it. So he took me to the back where there were other people, other officers, not other people, other officers. And he told me that I'd just have to wait there. I mean, they were going to have to figure out what to do with me. And I thought, well, okay. I mean, you know, they can't shoot me. Well, I say that. I don't mean to be rude or blunt. But anyway, they talked to somebody else, then they talked to someone else, and they talked to someone else, and I stayed in a room. I could see them, and they could see me, but we couldn't, I mean, I wasn't going in there and talking to them. I wasn't going to go in there and do anything until they told me, ouch, this is what I get for not wearing earrings. I'll do that later. I don't want to do that. That hurts. So finally, a tall guy comes out, and he says, I don't speak much English. And I said, that's okay. You live in France. You know, I understand. And he said, worst case scenario, you're going to miss your train. Because I'd already told them if they wanted me to go back to Fontainebleau and not go to Scotland, I would do it. I mean, whatever they wanted. I mean, I realized that I was in the wrong. I had a letter from my attorney. It was in English and in French, but they didn't seem to want to read it. That wasn't their concern. Their concern was I was illegal, and that's exactly what their concern should have been. And so what I did was just waited, and finally this tall guy came out, and he said, we're going to approve it, because you're only going to be gone a few days and then you're going to the States. But when we approve it, we're going to take you over to the UK Border Patrol. And if they say you can't go, we can't do anything about it. I said, okay, fair enough. Thank you so much. You know, and they were very kind to me. But I have to tell you the funny part. So anyway, I was just standing there waiting for them to tell me what I was going to have happen to me, because I didn't have a clue. And I said, the worst case scenario, I mean, they already knew that if they wanted me to go back to Fontainebleau, I'd go back to Fontainebleau and wait till I go back to the States. And I said, the guy came out and he said, well, the worst case scenario is you could miss your train. I said, well, the worst case scenario is I could go to jail. And he said, although I wasn't laughing at the time, trust me. And he said, well, you ought to be glad you're in France, because if you were somewhere else that we both know, you would already be handcuffed and probably thrown out that glass window. And he just laughed, and I laughed with him. I thought, if you think that's funny, I'm laughing too. I don't think it's funny, and I don't think it's funny the way immigrants are being handled in certain places. So, but I certainly did understand how they felt. I mean, at least I had a home to go home to. You know, I had money enough to get back to that home. So that was more than a lot of people. But anyway, he takes me back to the first man that refused to do anything. He had to take me back to the office. And the man's just shaking his head and shaking his head. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And the man is just talking to him. And finally, the man, you could tell he was not happy, stamped my passport. And then they wrote something on the side of it. And it just had my passport number and my name. And he said, let's go to UK. So I went to the UK. And he said, how long are you going to be in Scotland? And I said, 3 days. And he said, okay. I couldn't believe it. I was so very excited. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to get to go. And so I went through the TSA where they looked at all my luggage and looked at everything and made sure I did everything right. I was so excited. I had not had any coffee that morning. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to get me some coffee. And I went and they had decaf. And so I thought, you know what, if nothing else, I'll just stand here and wait till my next train comes, because I had missed my train, but they had another one coming and it was going to be loading in 30 minutes. So I had nothing to worry about. They were very kind. They had already been told by the French police that I was going to be detained. So I didn't worry about that. So I went and got my coffee. All of a sudden, this tall guy that was letting this other man know that I was going to stamp that passport, he walked around me and he said, Madame de Wester. I looked up and I said, yes. I thought, oh crap, I haven't made it out yet. He said, we need your address in Fontainebleau. And I said, gladly. And of course, the first time I wrote it, it was wrong. I said, I'm so nervous. I'm so sorry. He said, it's okay. It's okay. And, or d'accord. And I gave that to him, and he said, have a good trip. And I said, oh, thank you so very much. Thank you. So I got on the train. I was so relieved to be on the train. I was so stressed out. I slept for about an hour. I did take a few pictures of the French countryside and the London countryside, well, the British countryside. And then I had to change trains, and then I went from London to Scotland. And it was the most boring 4.5 hours. I know people say it's a gorgeous, gorgeous train ride. It wasn't gorgeous to me. It was pretty, but not gorgeous, and not 4.5 hours worth. So I am glad tomorrow when I go home that I'm flying. And I hope I don't have any issues when I go back. But anyway, I'm flying, and that's it. And I'm so glad. I'll be home in about an hour or so. And I really made my flight later because I might get to go riding in the morning, or maybe I just get to go back to the stables in the morning and take some videos. I don't know. But I'm guaranteeing it was hellacious. I will never, ever, 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 ever do this again. I know I didn't do it intentionally, but I should have sought out help sooner. I just thought I could do it myself, and I proved to myself that I can't do it myself. So I'm going to get ready in a few minutes, and I'll let you see my outfit in a little bit. I'm going for breakfast right now. Well, I finally found a mirror large enough so I can show you my outfit. I am wearing a jacket, and I'll show that to you later. And then I have my wellies on, as you can tell. And this is it. This is the final day. So this is me saying, whew, just stay safe, Janice. Just stay safe. Enjoy. Smell the aromas. This is one of those times that you can be alone, but not lonely. I picked up this book in the room, and it's about an autobiography of a pioneer woman doctor. And I started reading it, and I couldn't hardly let it down. I hope they let me take it with me. I really want to finish it. Yep, there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. I'm going to finish my video, and I'm going to enjoy my book and my cappuccino, and as the lady calls it here, my fake cappuccino, because it's decaf. Bonjour, hello, it's Janice in France, in Scotland. And I want to talk to you today about a subject that I think we get confused with. And I think maybe I've done it, and maybe you've done it, so maybe you can relate. There is a difference between being lonely and missing something. For instance, I miss not having a bathtub. And since I've been in this hotel, I think I've had about 5. But I miss that. But I'm not lonely because of it, but I do miss it. I miss my house. I miss my dog. But I'm not lonely. What makes people lonely, I believe, is when they're not happy with themselves. And I get comments from women all the time on here. They want to travel by themselves. They want to go places by themselves. And then I know other women, and some of my friends, they're just lonely. They want attention. They want someone to spend their life with. So there is a difference between being lonely and being alone and then missing. So yesterday I had the privilege of going horseback riding. And as I've mentioned on this channel 1,000 times, I had a meniscus repair in my left leg. And when you get on a horse, that left leg, or that left knee, has got to hold you to get that right leg up. And I have worried about this probably for about 60 days. Is it going to work? And it worked. And I even, believe it or not, I even did a little bit of trotting yesterday. So I was able to go up and down, up and down. Now, would I take a video of it? No, because I haven't done it in 15 years, and I looked horrible. But the main point was, I didn't hurt. And all this worrying has been for nothing. So I'm going back to what I was talking about. I miss riding a horse. Would I go out and purchase one? No. But I miss it. Am I lonely for not having a horse? No. But I do miss it. And when I walked into the stables, we went right into the tack room, and I could smell the leather. And it brought back such great memories when I was a teenager. Just lovely memories of going out to the stables every day and getting my horse ready and going and riding with my friends. Ah, I miss those days. Do you see what I'm saying here? There are things that we miss. We don't have to recreate them. I mean, I don't have to go out and buy a horse and spend 12 tons of money, which I don't have, and put into that just because I miss it. But boy, yesterday was such an experience. On the way over here, as you've already heard, I had a little bit of a traumatic exit out of France. I don't know what's looking forward for me when I enter, but I'm going to think positive. And it was the day that my husband had died. And I was already emotional, But I couldn't be emotional in front of them. I had to show them that I knew exactly what they were talking about. I absolutely did not disagree with them, and I respected absolutely their laws, and I would abide by whatever they said. If they wanted me to go back home, I'd go back home. And I made it very clear to them that, yes, I know what I did was wrong. I didn't try to make up excuses. It was my fault. I had a letter from my attorney. They didn't want to see it, and that's okay because I understand where they were coming from. So going back to missing, I miss my daughter. I really do miss my daughter. And I can't wait to see her. And I am lonely for my daughter sometimes. So I do kind of have both of those that go together. I miss my dog, but I'm not lonely for him. I am missing France. And after I've been in the States for about 30 days, I'm going to be lonely for France. I'm going to want to be back in my home, in what I call home. Now, please, let's don't take this out of context. Yes, I was born a United States citizen. I am a United States citizen. I will remain a United States citizen. But I do consider the U.S. my second home now, and France my first. That's just the way it is. I love being there. I love the culture. I just love everything about it. And I will miss it. And I will be lonely for it. But I won't be alone. Does that make sense? Some people that live by themselves are just lonely. And some people that live by themselves are alone, but not lonely. I fit into that category. And that's really the only category that I can talk about. I live by myself, alone, but I'm not lonely. I am one of these people that I can putter around in my house all day long and talk to my dog and talk on the phone, and I'm just happy. Now, I do like doing videos. I do think that's good therapy for me. And I hope sometimes that I do give some good advice, and maybe that you can think, okay, if she did it, I can move to another state. Or if she did it, maybe I could take up ballroom dancing. Or if she did it, maybe I could go horseback riding myself. It doesn't mean you have to make tremendous changes. But maybe I can instill in you to keep on living. Keep on trying. I never thought at 73 I would be riding a horse again. But it was lovely. It was wonderful. I absolutely embraced it. I embraced the smell of the barn, the smell of the horse. It just brought back such great memories of childhood. It was lovely. And I hope to be able to go to another one in the Cotswolds. It's a few more days longer, but it's closer to home. And I'm going to pick a time, I hope, that it isn't raining. But there is a difference between being alone and being lonely. So if you are living alone and you are lonely, let's click off some boxes that you could do. You can do some volunteer. If you are disabled, you can even help on a volunteer phone call. There are suicide hotlines that you might want to become involved with. There are so many online charities and online self-help groups that you could volunteer for. And maybe if you're not disabled and you can get out and help others in your town, it doesn't have to be an everyday thing. I have a friend of mine that lives in California, and she works in a volunteer shop in her hospital. And she loves it, and it gets her out of the house for 2 days. Not that she needs to be, because she's kind of like me. She lives alone, but not lonely. And then she's involved in her church. A lot of people get involved in their church. And I hope to be going back to mine, speaking of churches, when I return, because we've had construction, so we've not been able to go to church, or I've not been able to because I don't have a car. So get involved with your church. Get involved with any kind of activity you want to besides just scrolling on that phone and scrolling on that iPad or watching too many movies. Get involved. So there's a big difference between being alone and being lonely. I miss not having a bathtub. I miss not being able to soak about 30 minutes in my tub. I do miss that. Would I move out of my apartment so that I could have a soaking tub? No, I wouldn't, but I do miss it. I miss a lot of things. The older I get, I miss my dad more. The older I get, I miss a lot of things. But I'm not going to stop living. And I'm not going to stop doing. And I'm not going to stop going. I'm going to live life to the fullest. I'm going to live life every day just like it was my last. And I'm going to call my daughter every day. And even if she doesn't pick up that phone, I'm going to tell her that I love her because I miss her. But I also want her to know your mom lives alone, but she's not lonely. I have a life. And if you're one of those out there that just say, Janice, I don't know how you do it, email me. We'll talk about it. Maybe I can give you some tips. Or maybe you're one of these people that just want to be lonely. You're okay being lonely. You're okay being alone. And you're okay being lonely. That's up to you. But there is a big difference. A lot of women have lived longer than their husbands, and that's just a fact. And a lot of us live from paycheck to paycheck. I'm very fortunate that I did have an education. Sorry, I see my hair sticking up back there. And I was able to provide for myself and my daughter. But those of you that are alone and you're lonely, please try to do something about it. Because you know what? If you don't, nothing will change. If you are mad at your family, if you don't get along with your family, if you are mad at your neighbors and you don't get along with your neighbors, nothing is going to change unless you make it change. Your life will not change unless you make it change. So please, do me a favor. If you have a bathtub today in your house, sit back, enjoy it. Enjoy life every day. Not just today, every day. Take care. And thank you so much for being here with me. And thank you so much for putting up with me in my bathtub. And thank you so much for watching all my Scotland videos. And there'll be more. I have enough. As always, I love you. Au revoir. Well, as usual, I'm sitting. So I'm sitting in the Edinburgh airport. And I'm just a few little miles down the road to go get my Air France, but it's still a couple more hours. I just got here early because I love Scotland so much because they have a coffee shop. I can just sit in and I can plug in all my electronics. On the train here, no such thing. And in the airport, the train station, no such thing. So I'm very happy to be here. So all my electronics are plugged in. So when I get in there, I can tell the people that this is the flight I have. I don't have to worry about not having a ticket. And then when I get to Paris, I'll have my phone in case Luke can't find me or I get in late or whatever. So it's just a real nice feeling to know that I'm connected again. Not being connected to be able to give your ticket and talk to people that you may need to talk to is just really concerning for me. And I don't know about you, but it really bugs the heck out of me, especially when I try to be so efficient and so great when it comes to taking trips. At home, not so efficient, not so great, but traveling, I try to be. on my way home. And that's France. I hope I don't have any trouble at the border. Oh, good Lord.